Yanks washed out. Mets, they got wiped out. So 12-1, they get beat. Yankees washed out. They'll play the 18th and replay the two games. Well, they'll pick up the suspended game and then play the real game on the 18th. The regular schedule game. Yanks are off tomorrow, so the Mets. Both teams will be in action on Friday night. It's been a slow week for baseball, that's for sure, as the weather continues to be just terrible. Phil in Connecticut. What's up, Phil?
Hey, Mike.
Yes, Phil.
Phil, welcome back, buddy.
What's happening?
Hey, friends of mine were talking last year about the old Knicks. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I love the old Knicks, the Holtzman team with Frazier, Monroe, Busher, which I think is the only team to have 5 starters as Hall of Famers. I may be wrong. But how do you think they would stack up to these teams today? Or some of the best? If you looked at it from a 1 year,
it's 50 years ago. It's a completely different world. I mean, the game's so different. It's not even worth going back 20 years, no less going back, to the 60s or 70s, and dealing with the great Celtics teams. And I don't know about the Celtics had a lot of MVP, a lot of Hall of Famers on their teams, so I don't know. I'm sure at one point they started 5 Hall of Famers. I don't know if they continuously started 5 Hall of Famers. The Knicks obviously had a great team. Both versions, the first one and the second one, that won both those Holtzman championship teams were great teams and very smart teams and very well balanced teams. Andrew in Tenafly, what's up, Andrew?
Hey, Bud, welcome back. I really want to ask you a question about a comment you made in the opening yesterday where you said that the states basically were, going to try and get money from the league's going to try and get money from the states, but you said it's not that possible.
The league's going to try and get money from anybody they can, but they're going to try and use the route of going after the Congress and try to legislate and go after the states that way, because that's the only way it's going to work. And that's why you hear them talking about using Congress and going and making federal laws, because right now, if the states follow the Vegas way, they don't get anything.
Correct. So following that line of thinking, the states now have some leverage, though, with the teams, though, because they could say, well, you could just the teams could just pick up and leave. Like, when the Chargers were trying to figure out where the heck they were going, they could say, well, we're not going to stay in California.
Forget that. Don't even go that far, Andrew. This is what they say to them. Why should we pay you when you never paid Las Vegas? So why should we pay you now? Why do you need an integrity tax now when you didn't need one when Vegas took your bets forever?
Got it. So
they don't have a leg to stand on. So what they do is they go to Congress and they say they basically lobby the feds and go down and check with the senators and the congressmen, and they go down there and say, we need you to straighten this out and put in a federal law, except one thing. The states don't have to agree to the federal law. They just got the Supreme Court to overturn the federal law.
That's right.
So basically the leagues are in a little trouble right now. I think some of these, what they're going to do is they're going to say to these content providers, we're going to make stuff tough for you in terms of access, in terms of different things, if you don't play ball with us. So I don't know how they're going to turn the screws, but they're going to figure out a way to turn the screws and try to get their piece of the pie.
Interesting. So one other point I want to give you, because I know you actually did a great job on Closing Bell, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners are trying to figure out how to make money off this, but I actually read an interesting report that the best way to play this, instead of trying to figure out which provider to play, is actually just get involved with Facebook or Google, because all these access providers are going to spend a ton of money on advertising dollars. And, obviously the revenues for these guys are just going to go through the roof now, as it's kind of a scorched earth policy.
It's funny to see how that's going to work. I would wait a little bit to think that that's the automatic way to play this. Clearly, it's going to be interesting to see just how on the advertising platforms, whether it's the conventional ones like radio and TV or more towards the newer ones with, whether you're talking about on your phone, or you're talking about an iPad, Facebook, Google, Amazon, etc., Apple. I mean, don't think Apple won't be involved here. They'll be involved too. Yes, they will.
The report that I saw said that advertising was supposed to be up 28% next year online, and it's going to be up actually 700 basis points, so from 28 to 35% revenue growth. And that 700 basis points is coming just from this online gambling.
Well, you see, here's how the feds are going to attack that. they are going to they are going to take over the internet. They are going to take over the internet the way the FCC controlled television and controlled radio. They will control the internet soon. I don't think there's any question. They're about to regulate the internet. I think that's coming, and that will cut in to the profit for those companies. Now, they'll still make a fortune, but they will get that's coming. I think that's absolutely coming because, first of all, they think there's a need now, especially with what went on with Facebook recently, that there is a need now. They also have this idea that they feel there's too much going on with fake news and with outside groups getting involved and swaying the minds and hearts of America, so they want to get involved with that and see that that's not being controlled regularly. So there's a lot of reasons to believe that whether it's going to be the FCC, I think it will be the FCC, but whoever it is, whatever body it is, are going to get very much involved in the internet. I think that's coming and coming quickly. Dave in the Bronx, what's up, Dave?
Hi, Mike. Two quick things, Mike. Mike, would you agree that the officiating is terrible in the NBA?
Not good. Not good.
I mean, J.R. Smith should have been thrown out of that game.
Yeah, listen, he should. They did. I mean, listen, they called it a flagrant. He should have been thrown out of the game. I agree.
Should have been a flagrant too.
It should have been a flagrant too. I agree. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. But listen, they did. At least they didn't miss it completely. But you're right. It should have been a flagrant too. I agree.
Okay. The other point is, Mike, between Michael and LeBron James, I've gotten to respect LeBron more the last couple of years. I'm not a fan of his, but I've gotten to respect him. It's unbelievable what he's done this year. But can you throw Kobe in there, Mike?
Not as good as Jordan.
Not as good as Jordan, but is he Kobe's the closest thing to Jordan, no?
Well, he is, because he's the quintessential. They're both quintessential two guards. So yes, he's a closer thing. He is more Jordan. He is more like Jordan than LeBron is, but he's not as good as either one, LeBron or Michael. He's not as good as either one. And listen, Kobe's great. I'm not taking anything away from him. Saying somebody's not as good as Michael or LeBron is not knocking them. I mean, Kobe ranks. He's a great player. But he's not as good as Jordan, and he's in the jaw. He stacks up as a prototypical two guard, as does Jordan. So he goes lining up behind Jordan. He doesn't line up behind LeBron. He lines up behind Jordan because he's much more like Jordan. Anthony in Connecticut, what's up, Anthony?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's happening?
I had two things I want to talk about. One about the sports betting.
Yes.
Do you see that for say in the next few years when this comes through, changing the sporting event? At a live game, changing that at all?
Eventually, yes. Do I see kiosks at the stadium or the ability to bet at the stadium and stuff? I think you're talking about a generation off. I think that will come, but that will be the last movement of what will be something that will take. This will not happen all at once. This will happen slowly. They will integrate these wages into the world as we know it.
Do you think it makes it better for the experience? Do you think it's going to be a worse experience? Obviously, because somebody coming up to you trying to give you an idea of who to bet
well, why would they do that? They wouldn't do that. I mean, does anybody walk up to you in the street and tell you what stock to buy? No. So I mean, they wouldn't do that. But the point is, it will take time before it saturates to where they hope it will be, and I'm not even sure that it will be. I'm not sure it will be as big as some people are hoping. But the key is this: the key is not the big gambler. It's not the guy who bets 5,000 a game or bets 1,000 a game. It's not that guy. It's when you're getting everybody to participate, or 80% of the people to participate for $1 or participate for $2. And when you get penetration in terms of the population to that point where you are talking about reaching that number of people where they are participating at that level, then the amount of money you make is astronomical. The low denominations, the small bets, the everyday player is where you make the big money. Penny slots pay off bigger than anything in Vegas. Why? Because they go all day and night. We're coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. The best businesses are always improving. That's why Spectrum businesses are doubling their starting internet speeds from 100 to 200 megabits per second without increasing the price. Now there's business in New York City, and Spectrum Business makes it easier and faster and still more economical than ever. They make it speedier. They provide a speed you can't beat at a price you can't match, which means you get faster, you get better, you get more complete, you get everything you're looking for. So take advantage of this opportunity to improve your business. Call 866-750-9726. That's 866-750-9726. And switch to Spectrum Business today. You'll get the speed you need at the price you want, still for just $44.99 per month. That's 866-750-9726. 866-750-9726.